You know, I have to say, after watching a ton of Lost and now experiencing Viadomus, I've often wondered how I'd go personally in a plane crash island survival situation. Getting all tanned and shit, eating freshly caught fish over the campfire, all the adventures I'd go on, I'd wonder what that would look like. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Who's This Guy? The only show on YouTube that Lost creator J.J. Abrams describes as Mr. Abrams kindly requests that you stop contacting him for comment. And that's right, on today's episode we're looking at Lost Viadomus, a game that asks, what if your favorite TV show went on holiday, got really sunburnt and then stumbled home as a weird half-baked version of itself? But does it succeed in capturing the magic of the show? Or does it crash and burn like Oceanic Flight 815? Let's dive in, or actually, let's get stranded. Chapter 1. Wait, where are we? For those unfamiliar, Lost opens in the aftermath of the mid-air breakup of Oceanic Flight 815. It's one of the most memorable TV show openings, combining chaos with cinematic drama. Appropriately and predictably enough, this is where Lost Viadomus kicks off. It's all downhill from here. You wake up in the jungle in the shoes of our fabulous main character. Sarcasm. Anyway, he's very disoriented when the game starts, so he must have been watching season 6 of the show on the flight. That's a good one! But it's not long before he's on his feet and headed out to the crash site on the beach to meet the other survivors. If you've never watched Lost, there's a spinal surgeon with control issues, a lottery winner with terrible luck, the lady that got taken in Taken, one of the hobbits from Lord of the Rings, the lady from the Ant-Man movies, and the dude what voiced Johnny Gat in the original Saints Row games. Bullshit! Plus some others that I couldn't think of stupid intros for. The walk out onto the beach is the perfect microcosm of what you're about to experience throughout the rest of the adventure. In that, I guess this looks like the crash site from the show. It does an okay job at evoking it, but it all just feels a little flat. Instead of the chaos and desperation that made the show's opening so iconic, there's maybe 15 people wandering around like it's a casual barbecue. Naturally, I decided to avoid the smoking wreckage and injured people needing help and started collecting coconuts.
I need for you to explain to me what the hell's going on inside your head.
Unfortunately, Jack, the spinal surgeon slash control freak extraordinaire, wasn't thrilled about my priorities.
The fuel tank is ruptured. I need you to stop the leak before the whole thing explodes. You understand? Now go!
Sorry, man. I'm more of a fruit forager than an aeronautical engineer.
For the 4th time, I was gathering mangoes and she was already unconscious when I found her.
Turns out he might have been right, though. It seems I took too long with the fuel leak because Chapter 2. Familiar faces. Sort of. As you start interacting with the show's iconic characters, it becomes clear that something's a little off. For those new to Lost, these survivors aren't just trying to survive off my coconut stash. They're grappling with their own demons and the island's weird mysteries. Like a smoke monster, polar bears, and a mysterious hatch in the jungle. Jack is a real bossy fuck, just like on the show, but you can tell straight away that ain't Maddie Fox doing the voice.
Excuse me?
Evangeline Lilly didn't show up to do Kate either. Her voice actor sounds half asleep most of the time.
Are you alright, Elliot?
She also spends the first hour of the game being super hostile towards you, and then the remaining 4 hours incessantly flirting with you.
You don't look any worse for wear.
With no apparent reason for the change in her behavior. I think she was just after me for my coconuts. Charlie's voice actor is way off the mark, though he does provide the best moment in the entire game.
Monster!
The guy doing Saeed actually does a pretty awesome job. However, in the show, he was badass, and in the video game, he's more dumbass. There's this part where he refuses to let you into the hatch unless you can prove that you were on the plane. Once you discover your name, you go back to him and you say, "Hello, my name is Elliot Maslow."
My name is Elliot Maslow.
Yes, there is an Elliot Maslow on this list. You are now officially a survivor of Flight 815.
Are you really not going to ask us for proof that we are who we just told you we are? We could have found a suitcase with a name on it, a wallet in the wreckage. Maybe we're one of the hostiles pretending to be a survivor.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
The dialogue is bizarre, even by Lost standards. In the show, the characters often spoke in cryptic riddles to build tension. Here it feels more like they were charging Ubisoft by the word.
I've seen a lot of strange things on this island. I know he doesn't trust you. A pantry full of food.
Why aren't you answering my questions?
The only character that really feels true to the show is Locke. If you haven't watched Lost, Locke is the philosophical wildcard on the island who basically treats the whole experience like his own personal spiritual retreat.
What if everything that happened here happened for a reason?
Here he still pontificates endlessly about the meaning of existence and speaks exclusively in riddles, only without Terry O'Quinn's scenery-chewing, orange-smiling gravitas.
It is by going down into the abyss that you recover the treasures of life.
It's a lie, it's not real! None of it is real!
The icing on the weird character cake are the facial animations, which seem to have been programmed to kick in once characters have finished talking. I'm not sure I've seen eyebrows behave like this in a game before.
I'm not waiting.
Could have been talking about you, son.
Say what?
You'd be surprised how persistent that one-eyed Brewski can be.
It's especially hilarious when the emotion on characters' faces doesn't remotely match what they've just said.
I brought it down, dude. It's like all my fault.
But talking endlessly with our favourite castaways is but one slice of turkey on the Lost Via Domus gourmet gameplay sandwich. So let's see what the fuck else is going on here. Chapter 3. I am now a qualified electrician. Gameplay-wise, Via Domus really feels like a checklist of island highlights for Lost fans. Visit the hatch. Fetch some dynamite from the Black Rock. Avoid the smoke monster. The problem is, it all feels lifeless. The show's strength was its tension, that sense of danger lurking everywhere. Here, the island is a series of glorified hallways filled with collectible items galore. My aforementioned coconuts, papayas, torches to use to navigate the dark caves when you end up walking around in circles and going, where the fuck is Michael? Oh, that's right, he's probably still at that tree that he's been trying and failing to cut down for the entire game. How's it going, buddy? Haven't got it? Haven't got it yet? Well, you keep at it. The other main collectible inventory item are fuses, and you'll be needing these for the game's countless and identical fuse puzzles. And I mean fucking countless. It's like someone at Ubisoft said, offensive French accent incoming. No, you know this survival drama really needs to up the wow factor. Circuit breakers.
Why?
If you don't like fuse puzzles, the good news is there's a really tedious mechanic involving the smoke monster for you to enjoy instead. Anytime you find yourself in the central jungle area, the infamous smoke monster is a constant threat. And once it spots you, there's really nothing you can do except make a run for the banyan trees.
Banyan trees. They're very sturdy.
Watch the unskippable cutscene, stand around for a while waiting for it to go away, exit the trees, and then repeat this process again about 20 seconds later when it comes back and tries to take another bite out of your bottom. This is what I think they call riveting gameplay. Actually, the smoke monster thing gets even better when you have to transport TNT across the island so you can't run lest this happen to you. So you have to walk very slowly with the dynamite. And if the smoke monster sees you and you're not directly next to some banyan trees when this happens, you are, and let me be clear about this, completely and absolutely fucked. I will provide the faintest praise to what I guess is the one unique gameplay mechanic in Lost Via Domus, these explorable photo challenges.
What a concept.
Where history's greatest protagonist, Elliot, is tasked with capturing a pic that will jog his memory and help us all learn just what a truly horrible person he really is. The actual photo taking is pretty finicky, and the game asks you to be unreasonably precise with the focus, zoom, and timing, but these sequences are the closest Via Domus gets to having a unique gameplay hook, so good on you, champ. By the way, I've probably been saying Via Domus a variety of different ways so far in this video. That's just because I'm not that smart, my friends.
Fucking stupid.
However, it turns out this game ain't that smart either. Chapter 4. Where's Patrick Swayze? Via Domus means the way home in Latin.
Via Domus. That's Latin. Means the way home.
Except it doesn't. While via does directly translate to the way, domus is actually a Greek word that was incorporated into Latin that means house. And you never actually put these two words together in Latin to say the way home. A more correct translation of via domus would actually be roadhouse. So this compass says roadhouse. This boat, it's called Roadhouse. This game, it's called Lost Roadhouse, which is a crossover the world desperately needs, so it's all good actually. Chapter 5. Tell me now the tale of the shepherd. If you haven't watched Lost and you're coming into Via Domus, you're gonna have a real bad time story-wise. The game assumes you know what the others are.
Others.
What Charlie's on about when he sings. And why everyone's obsessed with entering numbers into a computer. Via Domus just throws all this lore at you without any explanation, so if you haven't seen the show, good fucking luck, Chuck. It also somehow manages to make you feel like entire scenes were cut out of the game to save time in an adventure that lasts less than 5 hours. Oh, the hatch is open now, I guess. Okie dokie. Would have been nice to experience that pivotal, momentous event from the show. Oh, Sun is suddenly speaking English now after keeping it chill for the first half of the game and no one says anything about it. Elliot is just like, hey, what's up? Sun pretending to not know English was a massive plot point on the show, and they obviously included it in the game but then forgot to do the reveal scene or include any dialogue about it. What the fuck? We need to fix my laptop. When did we find my laptop? Oh, Elliot needs to be careful now because other survivors have been getting kidnapped and murdered. First time I've heard of it. Who's been taken? Oh, probably her, actually.
What?
Seems like maybe this should have been made a bigger deal of as it happened, rather than Hurley just saying, hey, heads up, dude. Also, Hurley's stand-in voice actor sounds extremely Canadian to me.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
I don't think him constantly saying, dude, helps.
Dude.
Though maybe my Canadian and American viewers can weigh in on this, because it's a bit hypocritical of me to have a go at people attempting and failing to do accents.
Got guts, you got guts, kid.
I think you'll find cricket is English, my boy. Listen, pal, Batman isn't in these games. Ooh.
Fortunately, if you're coming to this game having watched all of Lost, everything actually makes perfect sense and this story's pretty good. No. If you have watched Lost, it's likely this story will piss you off even more because it does such a disservice to these characters and approaches the themes of the show with the subtlety of a plane crash.
That was alright. Good job.
The story does kind of play out just like Lost's greatest hits, only performed by a cover band. Game ensures we get a chance to enter the numbers, chat with Ben in the aquarium, follow Vincent through the jungle, and get knocked out by the others about 4,000 times.
Sweet dreams, Elliot.
Seems like he should come away from this with like triple amnesia rather than recovering his memories. Speaking of which... Elliot's personal story that gets weaved throughout all this Lost fanbase tells the tale of a massive dickhead. A man that is happy to send his lover to her death in order to get a photojournalistic scoop. To the point where he has a chance to intervene and instead does nothing so he can take a photo of the moment she gets a hole in the head.
Monster!
You'd think that this revelation would lead to some kind of self-growth, an unshackling of the selfishness and single-mindedness that's driven Elliot up to this point until he remembers what he did. You know, the way the characters on the show were able to evolve into better people as they worked through their past trauma. Not this guy! No, very quickly after he gets his memories back and realizes that he betrayed his lady and ultimately got her killed, he gets a chance to betray Jack and by extension Kate in order to buy himself an escape off the island. And you are fully expecting him at this point to say, no, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm not going to betray someone else for my own selfish means.
Don't let it happen again, Elliot.
And then he goes ahead and sells him out. It's like after he discovers what an awful, selfish person he was in his past, Elliot decides to become more awful and selfish. Isn't this the exact opposite of how character development is meant to work? I suppose we're meant to forgive everything though, because at the last possible moment, Elliot gets a chance to save Jack and Kate. In a gameplay experience I can only describe as the most trial and error bullshit I ever did see.
Oh yeah!
Let's try shooting this guy. Oh dear. How about this guy? Oh no. How about the TNT? Oh, that didn't go very well at all. Maybe I can just leave. That would be right on brand with Elliot's character up to this point. Nope. Daddy McDeadpants won't let me get away. Apparently the winning strategy here is to stand directly in front of Kate, shoot the TNT, and pray you survive the explosion.
What the fuck
are you talking about?
Anyway, Elliot somehow manages to survive a point-blank TNT blast. Jack and Kate, who are fundamentally good people, drag this undeserving piece of shit to safety, and he still decides to make a run for it. Way to bail on the people that just saved you when you're getting off the island on a boat that can literally fit every single person we've spoken to over the last few days, and we can all get out of here together. I guess Elliot really wanted to stretch out. So Elliot boards the roadhouse that could have fit 30 more people on it and sets sail for home. But then we see the same plane that brought us here in the first place breaking apart overhead. We wake up on the beach right after the crash again. Only this time, dead lady friend was on the plane and Elliot never got her killed in the first place, I guess. I suppose his reward for taking the face full of TNT is to live in this purgatorial time loop. Awesome. It's pretty weird and confusing, though I suppose an ending this frustrating and enigmatic is pretty appropriate for a game based on the show. It's Lost. Logic don't live here. Chapter 7. What's in the box? Showrunners Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse described Lost as a mystery box. It dangled tantalizing questions, offering clues while leaving others unanswered. At its best, this created compelling mystery and drama. At its worst, it was frustratingly opaque. In that way, strangely enough, and after all the shit I've thrown at it, Viadomus is almost the perfect tie-in game for Lost.
What?
It's clunky and nonsensical, but it's weirdly compelling. So good job, Ubisoft. Oh, I'm not saying it's a good game. Fuck no. I didn't even mention its technical failings like the awful screen tearing and the lockups and the funky animation, but it is really weird in ways that feel reminiscent of the show's strangeness. The characters are aloof and speak in riddles with reactions that don't make sense half the time. There's a pervasive sense of the uncanny hanging over everything that happens, as though it could be revealed at any moment that this is all a dream or purgatory or a wall's gonna fall over and it turns out we're all on a film set. And perhaps most emblematically, the player spends the entire runtime trying to figure out what the dealio is and going, what the fuck's going on here? Ultimately though, Lost Viadomus is just a fascinating artifact of its time. Just don't expect it to make any sense without prior knowledge of the series. Or honestly, even with it. And always remember, if you're looking for the way home, that's not what Viadomus means.